If you have run with the footmen, and they have wearied you, then how will you contend with horses? If in the land of peace in which you trusted they wearied you, then how will you do in the floodplain of the Jordan, running with the horses, instead of walking along with the footmen? How do you run with horses and remain humble? How do you become successful and remain firmly rooted in Jesus Christ? How do you run with horses? And I believe that the prophet Jeremiah is the perfect example of a man that learned through God, not through himself, but through God, how to run with the footmen and how to run with the horses. This is what it says. This is Jeremiah. He's so honest before God. I trust that you're honest before God, that you tell him exactly what's going on in your heart. Well, Jeremiah did. And he said, "Righteous are you, O Lord, and I plead with you. Yet let me talk with you about your judgments." I'm not happy, Lord, is what Jeremiah is saying. I'm not happy. Why does the way of the wicked prosper? Why do wicked people prosper in this world? We know you're King of Kings. We know you're the Lord of Lords. So why do you allow the wicked to prosper? Why are those happy that deal treacherously? A week ago, when it was announced that the Mayor of London was a Muslim, something happened, I believe, in this nation. It certainly happened in my spirit. I felt a deep sense of grieving, a deep sense of injustice, a deep sense that this nation, which for 400 years has been a Christian nation, that something fundamentally wrong was at the very door. And the man professes to be a moderate Muslim. His name, Sadiq Khan, means a truthful leader. That's what his name means. A truthful leader. And yet this man, and you can check this out for yourself, has many, many radical connections. Connections with people that want to see the downfall of the West, want to see the downfall of Christianity. And yet this man is now the mayor of London. His father was a bus driver, and it just so happens that 500 buses in the major cities of this nation, driving through each city, 500 have written on the side of them, "Glory to Allah." Glory to Allah, going all around the cities. And there's an amazing picture of one of these buses, and it's written in Arabic, "Glory to Allah," and the white Westerners kind of outside, they're just texting away, completely oblivious to what's happening. Back at Christmas time, the church wanted to do a one-minute video on the Lord's Prayer. And it was banned by 3 or even 4 major cinema theatres. It was banned, not allowed. And yet, here we are, almost in the middle of this year, and 500 buses are going out throughout the cities proclaiming that the God of Islam, Allah, all glory should go to him. And the prophet Jeremiah asked the question, why? Why? Why is this happening? But the answer that he gets is not the answer that he wants. Never is it? Why? They grow, yes, they bear fruit. You are near their mouth, but far from their mind. But you, O Lord, you know me, you have seen me, you have tested my heart toward you. Pull them out like sheep for the slaughter. He's not actually talking about Babylon here. He's talking about his own people, not Babylon, his own people. How long will the land mourn and the herbs of every field wither, the beasts and the birds consumed for the wickedness of those that dwell there? Because they said he will not see our final end. And God answers, if your past challenges have wearied you, how will you be ready for what I've got for you in the future? And it amazes me, because God so very often, when he replies to us, it's never what we want to hear. How often this happens. Really what God is saying to Jeremiah is, I was with you at the start. I've been with you through these battles. The men of Anatoth in his own hometown were constantly against him. And he's saying, if the men of Anatoth have wearied you, what are you going to be like when you get to Jerusalem with the priests? If the small guys have wearied you, what are we going to be like when the big guys come up against you? What are you going to be like in the floods of the plague? And so very often in our consumer Christianity, we have to go for counselling after counselling after counselling after counselling. But I find very often that nothing seems to change. People don't seem to move on. But God replies by saying, everything that's happened to you thus far is to toughen you up for your future. Everything that you have gone through is to toughen you up for your future. Everything. All the disappointments, the heartache, even the people of God that have hurt you, the men of Anatoth, all of the things that have happened to toughen you up for the days ahead. I'd like you to turn to Jeremiah chapter 1. Jeremiah prophesied in the time frame of 627 to 586 BC, till the fall of Jerusalem. He was a contemporary with Habakkuk and Zephaniah. Habakkuk was the praying prophet, Zephaniah was the preaching prophet, and Jeremiah was the weeping prophet. And if you read the book of Jeremiah on your own with nobody else around, no music, just read the book. It will cause you in your spirit to begin to weep. That's what Jeremiah does. It causes you to weep. And it begins with Jeremiah and God's call to this young man. Jeremiah was the prophet to a dying nation. A dying nation. The words of Jeremiah, the son of Hilkiah. Hilkiah, they say, was Josiah's father that found the scrolls, by the way, and caused the Reformation. The words of Jeremiah, the son of Hilkiah, of the priests who were in Anatoth, in the land of Benjamin, to whom the word of the Lord came in the days of Josiah, the son of Amon, the king of Judah, in the 13th year of his reign. It came also in the days of Jehoiakim, the son of Josiah, king of Judah, until the end of the 11th year of Zedekiah, the son of Josiah, king of Judah, until the carrying away of Jerusalem captive in the 5th month. Then the word of the Lord came to me. Why does it bother doing this? Because these are real people living in a real time frame. This is not a story. This actually happened. This is a historical account of a man that was called of God to speak to the people of God during a time frame that would ultimately lead in the complete decimation of the nation. And the word of the Lord came to me, saying, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I sanctified you, and I ordained you a prophet to the nations. And 42 years he would prophesy, and not one response would he get. 42 years he would be faithful to God, and not one response, really. Then I said, Lord, behold, I cannot speak, for I am just a young person. I'm a youth. But the Lord said to me, do not say, I am a youth, for you shall go to whom I send you. And this is the thing about youth. They tend to go when God says. God calls young people because they tend to do what God commands them to do. That's why the church needs people coming through and getting saved. When you look at the ex-prisoners in this nation, in this city, that have only been saved 6 months or a year, I'll tell you one thing about them. They will always do what God tells them to do. They don't question it, they just do it. And God says, don't go on about your youth. I've called you because you're young. Now let me encourage you older ones. You can be old, but you can still be a new wineskin. You can still be able to be used mightily of God if you have a new wineskin mentality. God's looking for people whom he can say to, go, and they say, I'm going, and they go. And he said to Jeremiah, don't go on about your youth, for you shall go to whom I send you to. And whatever I command you, you shall speak. Do not be afraid of their faces. Anybody that's been called to preach or teach or stand at the front knows how true that can be. Sometimes you can look at people's faces, folks. I'll tell you. For I am with you to deliver you, says the Lord. Then the Lord put forth his hand, and he touched my mouth, and the Lord said to me, behold, I have put my words into your mouth. It doesn't get any better than that, folks. That at his worst moment, at his worst point, he said, your words like fire in my bones. When you've got the word of God in your mouth, God, dear me, it's like an intercontinental ballistic missile to the world. Behold, I have put my words in your mouth. See, I have this day set you over nations and over the kingdoms. Now, bear in mind, this is a very humble man. Bear in mind, he didn't want to do this. This is not some guy that's going around saying, I'm a leader of leaders of leaders. He's not like that at all. He's a humble man. He doesn't even want it. But he says, listen, I've set you this day over the nations and over the kingdoms, to root out, to pull down, to destroy, to throw down, to build and to plant. And the one thing that I'm beginning to realize is, as I'm growing in the Lord, is that the Christian life is a whole bunch of seasons. Some seasons you're doing nothing but pulling down. Other seasons you're planting. And other seasons there's growth. But it's all about seasons. It says in Ecclesiastes, there's a time for everything. There's a time to plant, there's a time to pull up. There are seasons in your life. And if you're going through a bad one, don't worry. It's just a season. It will end. If you're going through a good one, guess what? There's hard times coming up, so don't get too rusty, because stuff will come along and will challenge you. Life is a bunch of seasons. And this was the message that God gave to Jeremiah. And I'm absolutely convinced it should be given today.